All right, back on the record, this is the people of the state of Colorado versus James Egan Holmes, case number 12 CR 1522. The record should reflect that Mr. Holmes is present with his attorneys and the prosecutors are present as well. We are outside the presence of the jury. One correction, in terms of the folks that, Ms. Brady, you mentioned were crying, I think you mentioned seats number 20 and 21, and I think you meant 21 and 22. And so to the extent that I also said 20 and 21, I stand corrected. It's the folks sitting in seats 21 and 22, right?
I think that's correct, yes.
Okay, and those are the two I noticed, and those are the two who have cried or have gotten teary-eyed or a little emotional, or although again, not excessively so. I think 4 different points throughout the victim impact evidence. These are the same 2 folks, by the way, who have gotten emotional at other points during the proceedings. Again, not with frequency in my view, but have gotten emotional on a few occasions, and I think they are probably the 2 most emotional members of our jury. One of them is a deliberating juror, the other one is an alternate. Anyway, the record stands corrected. Are the parties ready for the jury at this time, Mr. Brockler?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Brady?
Yes.
All right, let's bring the jury in, please. While we're waiting for that, could I have Mr. Brockler and Ms. Brady at the bench, please, for a moment? Please be seated, everyone. Welcome back, members of the jury. Mr. Brockler, call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, the people rest.
Ms. Brady, does the defense wish to present additional evidence?
The defense rests.
All right. Members of the jury, as you heard, the parties have rested, and so phase 3 has come to a conclusion. What's left, as you know, are instructions that I have to give you, and then the parties' closing arguments. I have some work to do with the attorneys, and so rather than keep you waiting here, I'm going to let you go home. So take the rest of the afternoon off, whatever's left of it, and then have you come back tomorrow. I'm not going to have you come back tomorrow at the usual time because, again, I'm hoping that we avoid having you wait for us. And my hope is that by the time you get here, we'll be done with the work that we have to do and that we'll be ready to go with my reading of the instructions and then the attorney's closing arguments. I have given each side 40 minutes for closing argument. The people will go first, the defense will go next. And then I have given each side an opportunity to make a rebuttal argument if they choose. So the prosecution may have a chance for rebuttal and the defense may have a chance for rebuttal. If there is rebuttal, it would be 20 minutes only. So at the most, it would be 1 hour per side. And then the jury would start deliberating at that point. Before I let you go, I'm going to go over the advisements with you one more time. So please bear with me. I know that you know these by heart, but this let me sleep at night, and also I'm required to give them to you every so often. So if I could please have everyone's attention. As you know, we're almost there. We're almost at the end, and this has been a process that has lasted several months, as you're aware of. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you comply with all these advisements. Each and every one of these advisements is mandatory, and they have to get your full attention. So I'm going to go through them at this point. Number one, please do not discuss any aspect of the case with each other through any means. You're free to talk to one another, but not about anything related to this case. Number two, in addition to not being able to discuss the case with each other, you may not communicate about the case with anyone else through any means. That includes your spouse or significant other. All you can tell people is that you're a juror in a proceeding in Arapahoe County, and that we expect the proceedings will be finished in August. Number three, you may not have any contact or communications with any jurors who have been dismissed. Number four, please do not talk with any witnesses, parties, or attorneys about anything, whether related to this case or not. Number five, to make sure that witnesses, parties, and attorneys do not talk to you, it is imperative that you wear your juror badge whenever you're on the courthouse premises, and that it is visible to everyone around you. Your juror badge will also reduce the risk that people will talk about the case in your presence. If you hear anyone talking about the case, or a case like this one, please remove yourself from that location. In the event that despite your best efforts, you hear something about this case or a case like this case, please let my staff know that you need to talk to me about something. And all you have to do is say, I need to talk to the judge about something. Don't provide any details. Number six, please do not talk to any members of the media about anything at all. Number seven, you must not read, view, or listen to any news or media reports that may refer to this case or to a case like this one. Because there's media coverage of this case, please be particularly vigilant while listening to the radio, watching TV, reading the newspaper, or using the internet or any electronic device. Given how close we are to the end, and given how long this process has taken, what I would request of you, if at all possible, is that you avoid the news altogether. I know that's asking a lot, but I'm only asking you to do that now for the end of this. So for the rest of the proceedings, and you heard that I've scheduled closing arguments for tomorrow, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm going to have you come in at 1 in the afternoon, so eat lunch before you get here. But given where we are, please just avoid the news, if everyone can do that. If at all possible, I'm asking that you avoid the news for the remainder of the proceedings, including during deliberations, including whether you're an alternate or a deliberating juror. Would everyone try to do that, please? And everyone's nodding their head and saying yes. Great. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Number 8, you cannot visit any locations mentioned in the case or conduct your own investigation outside the courtroom. Number 9, please remember that your decisions in these proceedings have to be based on the evidence presented in the courtroom, not on outside sources. You're not allowed to go to outside sources to get information about this case or information to make decisions in this case. Number 10, you cannot start forming any opinions about the case until I tell you that you can start deliberating, and that's only the deliberating jurors who can do that. The alternate jurors cannot form opinions or start forming opinions at all. Please remember that you must keep an open mind throughout the proceedings. And the last one is, remember that the attorneys have a job to do. They are required to make objections. Please do not hold it against them when they make objections or when they make requests of the court. Please don't hold it against them when they ask to approach the bench and we have a bench conference. Don't hold it against them if they oppose a request by the opposite side. They are required to do that. They have a job to do. Similarly, do not read into my rulings that I'm for one side or the other. I am not. I'm not for either side. Please remember that I'm neutral in these proceedings, and I am simply doing my best to apply the rules of evidence and other applicable rules of law. If despite your best efforts, you inadvertently violate one of these admonishments, please let my staff know that you need to talk to me. But I'm asking that you do your best to avoid that, all right? So that applies to all the admonishments. So whether it's a news report about this case or a case like this one that you inadvertently happen to hear something about, or whether it's related to something else, people talking about the case around you and you inadvertently hear something about this case or a case like this one, whatever it may be, if you inadvertently are in violation of one of these admonishments, please let my staff know that you need to talk to me. But let's avoid that situation by having you not violate any of these admonishments by being extremely careful, all right? Okay, so let me check with the parties at this time. Is there anything else on behalf of the people before I release the jury for the night?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else on behalf of the defense?
No, thank you.
Would counsel approach for just a moment, please? All right, one last thing. After closing arguments are completed tomorrow, if we have some time left, then the deliberating jurors can start deliberating. Otherwise, I'll have you come back the next day on Friday morning. And then this time, between the time when your sentencing verdict forms are completed and the time when the sentencing verdict decisions are announced, it'll be 3 hours. So I didn't want to forget to tell the deliberating jurors that, and actually the alternate jurors that as well, so that everyone can plan accordingly. All right, with that, folks, I'm going to release you for the night. Get some rest tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1. Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. The record should reflect that the jury has exited the courtroom now. My court reporter can stay here until 6, and the sheriffs can stay here until 6 as well. So my hope is that we can get most of the work that we need to get done in 2 hours. Ms. Nelson, I know that you asked for a break. How long of a break do you need? Because I would like to make use of the time that we have if we can.
Not until,
Okay, 4:15, and do you think we can get most of the work done in an hour and 45 minutes?
that would be my hope.
Okay. All right, let's do that then. Let's plan to meet at 4:15. The court will be in recess. Thank you.
all right.